Up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, today I'm just going to make fun of Gyre for like 10 minutes straight and talk about how she's still not good after all of the buffs in Veilbreaker. We're going to talk about Gyre today with ARCHON Stretch and how it's a nice little buff to her third ability, which it desperately needed. We're also going to compare her to Styanax and show how this frame is not really that relevant, even though she was made like less than 6 months ago. Before we get into it though, make sure to live stream channel and make sure you check out the, sub to this channel as well. You can see when the daily uploads go up and all that. I appreciate all the support lately, guys. It's been really, really awesome. All right, Gyre. I'm not going to do a full overview of what her abilities do, but we're going to give you a brief description, okay? But I'm also going to let you know, I also subsume off her 1 in all situations. Her 1 is just like a little lightning ball she throws out and shocks people. It's not very good. Her second ability is her first ability, but just better. Instead of just sitting there and shocking people, the lightning ball will now drag enemies in. And, her abilities mostly do electric damage, so that's pretty good to have enemies all dragged together. The electric damage proc, the status proc will chain between enemies that are nearby, making Coil Horizon, her second ability, pretty useful. Now, when we start running into some of the problems, it's going to be her third ability, Cathode Grace. This is just already not a good ability, because you know why? It has a cooldown. Why does it have a cooldown? Well, I don't really know, but we're going to go over what this ability does. So, the way this one works, you cast the ability. A buff is placed on you alone. This does not work on any of your teammates, only for you. You have a small duration that starts out 14 seconds with this duration on this build. If you do not get a kill within that 14 seconds, you will trigger that 60-second cooldown. Meaning you can't recast this ability, which is very important to Gyre until you do that. At least if you get a kill, it will give you some duration back, and I think it caps out at like 60 or 70 or something like that. And this buff will give Gyre alone, no other teammates, just a reminder, it gives Gyre a crit chance increase and a energy per second, energy regen. This will work for her abilities and her weapons. So her abilities can crit, but don't get too excited. It's electric damage. If the enemies are not fully armor stripped, you're doing like 2 damage to them. Her final ability is Rotor Swell. Basically, makes a shocking area around you. When you get a critical hit with a weapon, it will make another lightning strike come down. That's why you want to use high crit chance weapons with Gyre. So the entire playstyle of Gyre is have your buffs active, your 3 and your 4, group up enemies, and kill those enemies. That's really what it is. But once we start analyzing what these numbers are, the base energy regen of Gyre's 3 is actually like pitiful. It's absolutely pitiful. And then we're going to show how her damage works on enemies that are not armor stripped. And we're going to go over how she got buffed in Veilbreaker, because she got some decent buffs, but she's still laughable, honestly. Styanax just completely dominates this frame. Alright, so we're going to cast our 3. As you see, if I don't kill an enemy in 14 seconds, it's gone. We do get some energy regen. Now that they are getting shocked, you'll see 88 damage. I get some crits with my gun. Some procs are going down. As you see, the viral procs really help us out a lot here. But if we were to armor strip them, it's an insta-kill. So the armor strip changes for Gyre were a big, big buff. But at the same time, armor strip changes buff everybody, not just Gyre. Another thing is, now that everybody has access to this mod, or everyone that grinded call missions has access to this mod, I'm comfortable making videos on these. ARCHON Stretch. This is going to be one of those new ARCHON mods from Call. It's the same stats as normal Stretch as far as how much range you get, but now electrical damage restores 2 energy a second over 5 seconds. So, the 2 energy per second over 5 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but then you look at the base stats of Gyre's 1. It's actually stronger than Gyre's 3. It's stronger than Gyre's energy regen on her 3, even at base. Because I'm going to jam every power strength mod in the game. Almost every power strength. I got 328% strength. We're getting less than 500. It's still weaker than Zenerek with every power strength mod in the game nearly. And this build is unusable, honestly. This build is unusable. You're getting 2 seconds per kill. You have to be the only, this is basically like only for solo players. So, yeah. Any reasonable build, by the way, if you're going to be trying to copy this build, replace Cunning Drift with like Augur Reach instead. I just didn't have the formulas ready for this. Even with all this, we're jamming Multi-Augmented, we're jamming Growing Power. That's mostly because of Pillage. Now that Armor Strip is buffed up, the armor, her getting all that Armor Strip in there is very good for Gyre. You technically could run Corrosive Projection, but once you get fully stacked up with all your power strength and stuff, you'll be able to fully strip in 2 casts. So I wouldn't worry too much about that anyway. But here's the big thing. Like I said, this is just better than her 3. Now let's take a look at Styanax. We're going to get some gameplay on the screen. Let's look at Styanax, the newest frame. Reminder, the frame you're looking at on the screen right now is the second most recent frame. They have already, I'm not going to say they already moved on, but Gyre's 3 is like underwhelming as can be, and it's one of her main abilities. It's got unnecessary restrictions with the whole like cooldown thing. It only works on her, where Styanax's 3 works on his teammates. And the crit buff is nice, I guess. But, you know, if it worked on my teammates too, I'd feel much better about it. Let's start comparing it to Styanax. Now remember, I don't have Styanax because you can't buy Styanax in the store anymore. And I did subsume him. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing on the screen right now is the weapon, the Verma Splicer. And I'll link the video to that now in the description. So I'm going to go over Styanax's base. Okay, so already. I don't know if this goes up with rank on Styanax, but as you see right here, Styanax's third ability, Rally Point, gives energy rate of 3 per second. I'm not sure if him, because that's the rank 0 version. I'm not sure if it goes up with rank, but already double the base energy regen, and it works for the whole team. Now he's not giving a crit buff, but he's also giving shields on kill for his teammates too, which is, you know, like that's good for shield gating. So already off the bat, double the stats of Gyre, and I mean it's working for 4 people instead of 1 person. So infinitely better. So you can just go ahead and buff Gyre's 3 right now. Make the base energy regen free. Because look at this on the screen right here. This is me with her 3 active, with a decent amount of power shrink, about 200-ish with the Molt Augmented, and I've got Archon Stretch. We're getting like 5 energy regen per second with all of that commitment. That is just like upsetting. They need to like seriously change Gyre. She is a freak. Like, does anybody even play Gyre? I like never see Gyre in squads like ever. Like, I feel like she's not popular because they didn't really try to make her popular. Like, they really pushed Styanax's abilities hard. Just the 3 alone is just like, it blows Gyre out of the water. And you would think Archon Stretch, like, okay, electric damage, energy regen, those are 2 things that Gyre really appreciates. Or she does the electric damage, she appreciates the energy regen because you're casting abilities all the time. She has no actual like built-in survivability really, so that's why I've gone with Pillage on here. It's got the armor strip and it's got the shield restore, which is very good for survivability. I normally would run Molt on her, which is better for shield getting than Pillage, but it has no armor strip potential to it, so I ended up going with Pillage in the end. And as you see, that Limbo Nullifier or that Limbo Acolyte, this is one of the frames that hates the Limbo Acolyte as much as more than most, because she is all about these buff abilities, and there's not really any reason to, like, once it falls off, you can recast it, of course, but yeah, she really does not like losing her abilities, because that's all she's really got is this, like, red crit blinding. It's also kind of hard to see when you're playing her. I've always found that kind of a problem, and a lot of people that liked Gyre at launch, I think there was, like, it's like pretty much a Styanax. They called her for like striking lightning down too quickly, a bug or something. I didn't play Gyre at launch that much because she was really annoying to farm. Like her drop rates were bugged at release. So yeah. But as far as, you know, is Gyre better now? Yeah, she's technically better, I guess. Like, you can use Terrify, you can use Pillage, you can use whatever armor strip you want to. I'm gonna go with Pillage here just because of the whole like shield regen thing. But like, dude, what I'm doing right now, I could just be playing like Saren. I could be playing maybe even Volt. I could be playing like nearly anyone else, and it would be nowhere near as annoying. And like, this is such a specific playstyle too. It's like, okay, so I have to be like basically armor stripping everything. If you don't armor strip these guys, look at this guy right here. He's taking like, what is that, 24 damage? Then when I fully armor strip him, he's dead. So it's a complete night and day difference. Yeah, 29 damage yellow crit right there. When they're armor stripped, it goes to like, I mean, that was 182 damage red crit, so yeah. She needs full strip, but full strip to get these abilities off is actually not as safe. If I was using Terrify right now, not only would the energy cost be higher, but I'd be getting no shields back. So if I did get shot before the Terrify was cast, I have no shield gate there. I guess you could technically use Augur Mods, but Gyre actually has a very large shield. If you're using Decaying Dragon Key shield getting cheese, or I guess I call it cheese still, even though I use it nowadays, 131 shields. So you need to seriously get some Augur Mods up in there and Brief Respite to even get your entire shield back. That's why I went with Pillage. So let me know how you guys feel about Gyre in the description or in the comments down below. I think she definitely needs a buff. I also think Caliban needs a buff, but I actually feel like DE actually forgot about Caliban. Like, legit, they forgot about him. They said they were going to buff Caliban more after release. They buffed Caliban once ever. Just to make my video irrelevant, where I said the biggest problem with Caliban was his 4 push enemies away, they changed it where his 4 pushed enemies in instead of away. And then they never changed them again. So, yeah, buff Caliban, buff Gyre, and Archon Stretch is good on Gyre, but I don't really recommend playing Gyre in the first place. All right, guys, hope this video was helpful to you. I will see you tomorrow for another video, and I will be streaming tomorrow as well. So take it easy. Peace.